Abraham Lincoln liked trains for fluxing his thoughts into words. Now, Wednesday, October 1st, 1862, he was on a train again, going to the Antietam battlefield in Maryland to see it all with his own careworn eyes. The battle was just enough of a victory for the Federals. 9 days earlier, using his legal power to abolish enslavement, an emergency order as commander-in-chief in response to events on a battlefield, Lincoln issued his globe-tilting Emancipation Proclamation. Commander-in-Chief, a title created at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, had ever since been somewhat an empty shell, with unenumerated powers that Lincoln boldly named and wielded. The seceding state leaders once believed Lincoln would let them go, and only a little bit of chest beating and saber rattling would cause him to demur. But no. Once the cannons began roaring, Lincoln was nudged again and again by events into action against enslavement. Letters home from Federal soldiers in Virginia were shifting public opinion in the North against the now vivid reality of enslavement. The Confiscation Act of August 1861 had been passed by the time Federal General Nathaniel Banks led his thousands into Virginia and Jefferson County. What nudged President Lincoln towards granting outright freedom for those enslaved were scenes such as this in Charlestown, Virginia. March 8th, Saturday, fair and mild. An excitement was produced in town by the arrival of a wagon load of Negro women and children with bag and baggage as if bound for a free country. They were stopped in front of the Provost Marshal's office for a long time and were the theme of much speculation for the citizens and soldiers. I understand they were forwarded to Harper's Ferry. Numbers of men have flocked into town more or less every day since our occupation. They were arrested and put into jail. As the number increased, it was asked what was to be done with them. The quartermaster from Harper's Ferry had just desired a detail of men to load and unload army stores. It was suggested to send the Negroes there to do the work, and so decided. Each day since, as they have gathered in, they have been marched in squads to Harper's Ferry, and having disposed of the stores, are still occupied. This is all fairly in accordance with the professed intentions of the government. The sending forward of the women and children, however, looks ominous and may bear a dark interpretation. The writer, David Hunter Strother's dark interpretation, meant for all contraband, including little children, to be formally and forever free of once legal chains within the Union. He, although a Union officer, had been born in nearby Martinsburg, Virginia. The next nudge was the upshot of this oft-repeated scene, the Second Confiscation Act of July 1862. So now, this day, October 1st, to the land where blood spilled was the just dried ink of Lincoln's emancipation. The document Lincoln drafted, the one he told his cabinet, fulfilled a promise he had made to his maker. Lincoln's secretary, John Hay, believed that the day before, on September 30th, as Lincoln anticipated the trip to the consecrated fields of sacrifice, that Lincoln wrote down for himself, "Meditation on the divine will. The will of God prevails. In great contests, Each party claims to act in accordance with the will of God. Both may be, and one must be, wrong. God cannot be for and against the same thing at the same time. In the present civil war, it is quite possible that God's purpose is something different from the purpose of either party, and yet with the human instrumentality working just as they do, are the best adaptation to effect his purpose. I am almost ready to say that this is probably true, that God wills this contest and wills that it shall not end yet. By his mere great power on the minds of the now contestants, he could have either saved or destroyed the Union without a human contest. Yet, the contest began, and having begun, he could give the final victory to either side any day. Yet, the contest proceeds. It is not impossible that Lincoln was trying to find words to express his private, weighty thoughts at that momentous moment in history. He knew the newspaper reporters would press him for comment. As it would happen, seeing the aftermath of carnage of 23,000 dead and wounded, the blood that signed the emancipation for all time, took the words right out of him.